Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is From Business with Love, and I am Colin Parsons. So thanks very much for coming back to the channel. I do appreciate people turning up and watching these videos. So anytime you want to, please subscribe to the channel. That helps me understand this is useful for people. And if you've got any comments or there's anything you want to ask me, please feel free in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So this week, a couple of things. I guess the main part is I had a meeting with the House of Entrepreneurship here in Luxembourg, and it's basically a team that's set up to help new people build their businesses, and it was very useful for me. It's great to have an additional resource in terms of going to people, having some more input, guidance on what you should do in terms of starting up your business. Now, something that I come across quite frequently for myself is with any business, there's always this admin. You need to apply for business permits, you need to apply to be on registers, you need criminal record, whole host of things. Now, that's just maybe often at the start of starting a business. And I'm not one of those people that loves to do the admin side of stuff, but it's super important. And time for me is kind of running out, and I need to make sure all of these things are done. Now, I can get quite easily overwhelmed with all of these activities. So I know I need to do them. So there's a deadline coming up. I need to apply for all of these things, because if I don't, then I'm going to be in trouble. I won't get unemployment benefit, and it creates a lot more problems for me. So I know there's an urgency to it. Obviously, the Christmas period's coming up, so people won't be around and things won't be as quickly processed. But it's good to know these places exist and that they're there to help you. The only downside I have found with all of this is sometimes too much information can actually paralyze you. So they've got great websites. You can go and do all of this. There's people to help. But you only need to know certain pieces of information at certain points in time. Yeah, there's a load of things that you need to do, absolutely. And that's important to understand. But you only need to know when you get there. Because if you take all of that information in, you think, oh, this is like climbing a mountain. But you only need to climb to the first station, first of all, then give yourself some time and process onto the next thing. So it's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to go down a lot of rabbit holes in terms of information. Okay, websites are great, but there's always a link here and a link here. And soon you find yourself going in many directions, actually following something that you don't actually need to know at this point in time. So if you're struggling with this overwhelm, there's loads of stuff. Obviously, if you can and there's people to help you, that's great. Some of the things that I've come across is because people deal with this day in, day out, they forget to make it simple for you. So they throw a lot of information at you quite quickly, and that's great. Yeah, scribble it down. The challenge with that is that you don't need to know all of that, and they quickly brush over things. So don't underestimate trying to simplify things, and just build it out and just get it clear in your mind what needs to happen, what's the most important step next, and do that. Focus on that. Once you've done that, you can tick it off. You'll feel great, and then you can move on to the next thing. But it's easy to get overwhelmed with too much information. Now, the second part is something I wanted to talk about completely separately. It's this idea of a money hurdle. Now, I made a video about this on LinkedIn. I quite like it. And I thought I'd share it with you, because I think in business we come across this quite often. And it's something I learned from someone a little while ago. And they actually did, it really opened up my eyes, because most times we have this negative relationship with money. Even if we've got enough money and we're in a secure position, we often discount opportunities and we say, oh no, we can't afford it. But if we'd have dug a bit deeper, then we actually realized we should have done that or could have done that, and it would have been more beneficial for us. But we put this block in our mind around the money. So this, I want to sort of expand on this idea, and I did this video around money hurdle, and I created this very simple diagram. Basically, this is the decision process. Okay, so if you want a conclusion of a decision to make, this is basically the process. And in order to do that, our mind has to process certain things. Now, in order to do that, these are technically hurdles that you have to overcome in your mind. Does this make sense? Is this good for me? What's the outcome? Are there risks, etc.? You do this obviously subconsciously, but I've found that one of these is often the money hurdle. So this is you, and you need to overcome all of those things. Now, the money hurdle we often put as first place. So we discount things, but we shouldn't really do that. We should try and move that money hurdle to the end. Money is always still important. You don't want to do things that are going to put you in financial trouble. But if you actually weigh up other aspects of that decision, whether it's good for you, are you going to build a client relationship that's going to help you much further into the future, then that's something that really you need to consider. But if you make money the first thing that you think about, and if you have that negative relationship, your mind might jump very well to, oh, I just can't afford this, and you discount opportunities very quickly. So I'll give a good example of this. Say you're offering your service to a new company, and you say, right, okay, actually I need money at the moment. No, I can't afford to do this. And you go, okay, you know, let's say you charge a day rate for your client activity or service or whatever you're offering. Now you go, okay, I'm going to actually charge up here. And that's because your money hurdle is here. Now, if you reframe that and you said to yourself, right, okay, actually, I want a testimonial from this company. I want to grow. I want to work with this client. There's a lot of benefits. You know, they might be able to put me in contact with other clients, or just getting the feedback or the growth from working with a client, overcoming that first initial service of working with someone, a real sort of growth moment. Now, the benefits of doing that will actually be much greater for you. And yes, the money is still important. But actually, if you can say, right, okay, is this good for me? Do I have the time to do it? Is this going to build long term? Is this risk high or low, etc.? If those hurdles are at the beginning, you'll start to stack it up, and you start to see, actually, there's probably a number of aspects that are beneficial for you doing that. Now, at the end of it, if you put your money hurdle and say, can I afford it? You might say, well, I can't afford to charge, well, I can afford to charge that, and that's what I think. But actually, the benefits that this is going to give me, I could charge this, and maybe that client's going to accept it, and that will give me much more longevity in my career and in my business. So moving that money hurdle to the end and kind of discounting it for a while and adding it up on the end will actually make maybe some decisions a lot easier for you. Now, I think this comes down to a lot of sort of understanding of your relationship with money. And, you know, we can't always just snap our fingers and change that. But having an awareness of your relationship with money is very, very important, because sometimes we chase it and say, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to charge this for our service because, yeah, I need this much money. But actually think about the other benefits and, you know, move that money consideration towards the end and say, okay, what am I getting for this? And it might be that you say, right, okay, for this time I charge only this amount, but next time I work with them, just say, okay, absolutely, I charge that, because now this is a full stack service that I'm offering you. So I think it comes down to, you know, being aware of yourself and being aware of how you're conditioned in terms of money. Now, there are different ways and techniques of dealing with, you know, your association with money. So if you want any more advice, I've gone through this myself. I'm not an expert. I speak to people that are experts, and we can reframe how we have that association with money. But I think if you're starting your own business, working from a place of scarcity around money can often derail us. So be aware of your thoughts and feelings around money. Be aware of your decision hurdles and what you're actually considering. Sometimes write it down, because when it exists in your head, it's not always easy to see. So hope that's helpful for you. I think it's something I really need to consider going forward, especially in my business relationships, and certainly probably my personal life in terms of money, etc. Because the value isn't always in money, it's in learning and growing. So the money side has to come at some stage, obviously, but doesn't always need to be the priority. So let me know in the comments if you need anything, or you think this is a good idea, or you struggle with it yourself, and maybe we can have a conversation. So that's it. Thank you very much for sticking with me. It's the Christmas period coming up. I'm still planning to make a video. So hopefully I'll see you next week. Cheers.